Man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare.
Ask Kamala, say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No, I'm not.
Kamala
I just said I'm not
Harris
going to vote
is
for
not
her.
running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy.
I don't know
So it's
her-
unclear to me how there could be an
Stephanie,
informed...
the problem that a lot of people have with Kamala is we don't know her answer to anything, okay?
But you know his answer to everything.
And that's why I would never vote for him, and people should vote for him. But people also are expected to have some idea of what the program is of the person you're supposed to vote for. You're just not supposed to say, well, you have to vote for Y because X is this, that, and the other. Let's find out a little bit more. And I don't think it's a lot to ask her to sit down for a real interview as opposed to a puff piece in which she describes like her feelings of growing up in Oakland with nice lawns.
Then I would just say to that, when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number and I'll be your next door neighbor. We don't live there.
By the way, in case you didn't know, that's the woman who is interviewing Kamala Harris tonight. The woman who says it's okay if she doesn't tell me anything. She's still better than the alternative who is, wait for it, what? A threat to democracy. As long as you have a threat to democracy, it's okay if you elect a mop. Because that's exactly what she's saying. Now, I have a bit of bad news, and I'm going to have to do some production magic here. See, MSNBC is obviously terrified of people getting this information out. Because it wasn't a live interview like when Trump does a live town hall. It's a live town hall, and he's talking to people. She wouldn't even do a live interview with that woman who is basically the mother hen and saying, you know, it's okay if she lies to you. So she did a taped interview. So all we have available at this point, because MSNBC has decided to lock it down, they are not allowing anybody right now to actually stream this show at 7 p.m. But we got some skills here, so it may get a little clunky as I show you some of the questions and answers, but you're going to get the point. She's just absolutely lost. But before I get into that, because this is a different kind of show, let's go ahead and just jump in this right now. I told you I was going to give away some hoodies in tonight's show. We'll announce it tomorrow, but we're going to give it tonight. So what you need to do, if you'd like to win a hoodie, that's my lovely wife. If you want to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org, fill out the information, and register to win a hoodie. And we're going to give away 2. Maybe we'll give away 3. Not really sure. We'll see what happens. But we're going to go ahead and give away a hoodie. So just go there right now or after the show. You don't have to rush right now. In fact, don't rush. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. You can always register for the hoodie later. I'll put it up a couple times here. So that being said, I'm going to have to do some, mechanics here to show you some of the stuff that this woman has said. I'm also going to start with some of the stuff that she said. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at something. Am I getting a feed? I might get, we'll see what happens if this feed comes up or not. I'm looking on my computer and it looks like some other computer. But in any event, let's go ahead and look at some of the stuff that she said today. Where's that link? Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Each year, WM oversees the safe disposal of millions of tons of waste.
And we will reform our tax laws to make it easier for businesses to let workers share in their company's success.
Okay, so in case you don't understand what she just said, she just described communism to you. We're going to make it easier. Who said it was hard? If a business owner wants to basically do an employee stock option or employee sharing, they don't have any problem doing it. We don't need government involved in it, though. You can't mandate that people share their revenue or profits with employees. That's communism.
And I will challenge the private sector to do more.
No, if you were to be elected, you are the government. What are you challenging anybody to do anything? Stay out of business. Every person with a business should understand what this woman is advocating for, and immediately your head should spin and say, whoa, I don't even want you knocking on my door.
To lift up workers through equity, profits, and benefits.
Equity? So I may have 1,000 shareholders who own stock in my company. You're now telling me that the government is going to mandate or push their way into telling an employer, you have to provide equity, meaning you got to give these people stock. There are some companies the company is owned by the shareholders. Lots of times it's the employees when that happens, but it's not a government program. She is inching her way into the boardrooms of businesses across the country, no matter how big, no matter how small.
So more people can share in America's success and prosperity.
What if I don't want to? What if I work my ass off to build a business for my family and, I'm paying the people to do the job. Now, in addition to $20 an hour or whatever you want, now I got to share my profits with this person. Now, many people, and I'm not telling you never to do that. Sometimes you may have an employee and you're like, damn, this person is really good. And what I'd like to do is bring them on and give them some equity in the company. That's not what she's talking about. She's talking about all your employees. Next up.
We need to guard that spirit. We have to guard that spirit. Let it always inspire us. Let it always be the source of our optimism, which is that spirit that is so uniquely American. And let that then inspire us by helping us to be inspired to solve the problems that so many face, including our small business owners.
Now, I'm not an English teacher. Somebody got on me because sometimes I say Mar-a-Lago instead of Mar-a-Lago, but I am not usually someone who would use the same word 3 or 4 times in one sentence. It's amazing to me that this woman just talked about inspiring somebody to do better. I want you. Hey, Mr. Person in the mailroom, I want you to aspire to be better. I don't know if you saw who Nike just hired. Nike just hired a new CEO, and the person that they hired as a CEO at one time worked in the mailroom. The guy worked there 32 years, and he went from mailroom to CEO. Fantastic success story. He was inspired to continue moving forward. He was inspired to succeed. The previous clip, she's like, you got to give it to him. How did she say, and again, the talking seals in the audience, I'm like, wait a minute, you just said I need to inspire somebody, and at the same time, you just said, give it to them. Are you inspiring them to take equity? Are you inspiring me to get, what are you inspiring? Doesn't make any sense when she talks, her unburdensomeness and whatever else she's talking about.
I believe an active partnership between government and the private sector.
No, time out. Time the F out. If you're a business owner and you're hearing this stuff, right now you need to be screaming. She's telling you what she wants to do. She wants to be, quote, an active partner between government and the private sector. Raise your hand if you ever decided you want to have the government as a partner in your business. I don't know anyone, anywhere, who says, you know what, it would be a great idea to bring on these guys as partners in my business. Because when I think of partners, I think someone who has access to the keys. They have access to the books. They have access to employee records. They have access. They're a partner. Also, most people I know who have partners, the partner has invested. You know, hey, listen, I like to buy 20% of your business. Okay, that's going to cost $100,000. Let's go ahead and negotiate. I'll give you 80 for 20%. Boom. You've seen Shark Tank. Hey, I'm offering 20% of my business for about $250,000, and then they can negotiate. Notice she didn't say anything about investment. Notice that word didn't come up. You know why? Because the government doesn't have any money to invest. The government doesn't have extra money laying around. How are they going to pick who they invest in? Well, rather, who are they going to pick to partner with? There can't be a long line of people who say, you know what? I really wish Kamala Harris was my business partner. Who is buying the crap that comes out of her mouth? Blah. And she says it so smoothly and smiling and trying to look pretty. You know, the government should be partners with your business. Hell no. That's a capital H, hell no.
Is one of the most effective ways to fully unlock economic opportunity.
No, it's not. Being a partner with the government is the fastest way to go broke. Once you open that door and let the government step over the threshold, you're effed. You're done. You're completely toast at that point. Imagine you got an employee that you need to discipline or maybe remove or terminate, and they go, I'm going to go talk to your partner, and I'm going to say you're racist or sexist or homophobic or xenophobic or whatever phobic word I can attach to it, and I'm going to go complain to your partner, who happens to be the government. What do you think happens then? Oh, or let's say somebody slips and falls in your parking lot, and they said, you know what, I'm going to sue. Well, you want to sue my partner? My partner's the government. What's going to happen at that point? She hasn't thought this out, or maybe she has.
And that is what I will do.
And that's what I will do. I will step over that threshold and I will run your business.
When I am president.
Hey, check this out. So I stopped by.
Wow.
Tariffs aren't unique.
All right, so this is bits and pieces of this interview have snuck out. They're out there, and people are like, really? Is this what she's talking about doing? She's talking about tariffs now. And this answer she gives really proves she has no friggin' idea what a tariff is. In fact, the woman here on MSNBC, Stephanie Ruhle, is trying to give her leeway. Like, hey, listen, you're kind of off here, Come on back. Come on. He didn't come back.
To President Trump, President Biden has tariffs in place. He's actually looking to potentially implement more. Where do you come out on? Is there a...
I love that face. We saw it at the Oprah thing. That's the face of, oh shit, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. Even if I got the questions in advance, that's a look of complete air. There's nothing behind it. What do I do?
good tariff, a bad tariff?
Well, part of it is you don't just throw around the idea of just tariffs across the board, and that's part of the problem with Donald Trump. Frankly, I'm going to, and I say this in all sincerity, he's just not very serious about how he thinks about some of these issues. And one must be serious and have a plan.
Of course, she didn't answer the question, but you also can tell she hasn't heard what Donald Trump has said about tariffs. Hey, China, if you want to sell that car back here, we're going to put a 200% tariff on it. Hey, if you take your company to Mexico and want to sell back into the United States, we're going to put a tariff, 200, 100% on your goods. Sounds like a friggin' plan to me. What is she talking about? Wait, he's not serious. No, he's absolutely serious. How can you say the man is not serious when he has specifically told people over and over what he would put a tariff on? He even says which goods he would put it on. He has said which countries he would put it on. He has said which companies, what products, everything, what you're going to do. You are not going to bankrupt the auto industry here in America. So if you want to build a factory over there, wherever there is, you understand if you try to bring those cars back, we're going to slap you with a tariff. How is that not having a plan? Because she doesn't understand it. She just doesn't even understand what a tariff is.
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
You want to tell her? Anybody want to walk up and hand her a note and have her look down and go, hey, you're the vice president. You are what's not working. You and Dementia Joe aren't working. She must think that the audience that listens to her has no clue that she's been the vice president for nearly 4 years. She must not realize that everything that she and Joe have done isn't working. But yet she's telling people, just move past. It's the past. Let's just move forward on stuff that doesn't work, on stuff that we did. Just forget about it. We'll try again next time. That's the only way you could step on the stage and say something so stupid, is to expect that nobody can remember that you are currently the vice president of the United States and have been so for nearly 4 years. How else, if you're trolling here, you let me know. How else could you stand in front of a microphone, in front of a television camera, and say, we just have to move beyond the things that don't work? The things that you did. There's no acknowledgement whatsoever of accountability. Hey, we let in 20 million people, 20 million newcomers, but we need to move on from that because it didn't work. Well, who did it? Trump didn't do it. The gas prices are really high. We're trying to, play some games with stuff now by bringing in oil reserves, but we understand that for basically 3.5 years, you've been paying $5 and higher in some places dollars per gallon. It didn't work. Who did it? Whose policy are you moving away from? Wow, grocery prices are off the chart. Man, whatever they did didn't help with grocery prices. That policy didn't work. We need to move forward. Move away from stuff that didn't work. You did it. Real estate, rent, interest. She doesn't even want to acknowledge that she's currently the vice president. In fact, I wonder how many times she's even been introduced at these events as Vice President Harris or presidential. I don't know, because the people who seem to sit in the audience don't seem to understand that she's been the vice president for 3.5 years.
And as vice president.
Okay, now, this is a good one. So she says she wants to move past the things that haven't worked. And she forgets to tell people that she was part of the things that didn't work. Well, we can no longer say part of anymore. You see, Dementia Joe goes on The View, that wonderful show, and he blows it. He completely blows it right here. Listen to what he says. You really have to listen closely to what Dementia Joe says about Kamala Harris and he working on everything.
There wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
What? There was nothing that she couldn't do. So I, as the president, I delegated everything to her. Foreign policy, domestic policy. Oh, so we had co-presidents for the last 4 years. She wasn't a vice president. She was the co-president. She was in the cockpit while Joe was sleeping. I'll take the wheel here. He just said it. Came out of his mouth. So either he's a walking vegetable, which most of us know, or he just spilled the beans and said she's been doing it anyway. Which actually, now that you think about it, it makes sense. She's actually tried her policies and they have failed miserably. Down, down, deportation. Remember that video? Down, down, deportation. Bring them all in. Oh, that's what the border czar did. Instead of going down and controlling the border, she said, come on in. This is my policy. I've been delegated to do what I need to do. The big guy said, I'm co-pilot here. Bet you didn't know that. I didn't know it. I didn't know we had a co-pilot arrangement. And now it seems like she's completely taking the wheel.
One way to avoid expensive car repair.
And I thought I had more there. So anyway, that's what happened earlier. So now I've got to. Well, before I go to that, let me go ahead and take a few comments here. Hey Kamala, we want the border closed. Can't you close it? Nope. She didn't get that lesson. Joe hates her, in my opinion. A little dimension and a lot of resentment from Joe there. Absolutely. Makes sense now. Now Sleepy Joe sunk her boat. I don't know if they even realize what she just did. I don't think they realize what she just did. So now I'm going to show you some of these questions. So I'm going to you have to bear with me here, because I'm having to do some things that I didn't expect I was going to have to do. Let me just check something. Okay, so that's right here. Wait 1 second, because they wouldn't let me play this thing in its entirety, so I have to play it like this. Let's see if this will work. And yes, it will. All right, so this, I'm just going to have to move over and play it, because this is what she said to a question today. Let me just see if I can't put this in order here. All right. Do we have volume on this? Okay, hold on. I gotta see if this works.
Expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share, and it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
Bill Gates just said it this week. If he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more. But how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country?
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs. I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. They also agree that when we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits.
Again, the government can't invest in anything. But more importantly, I've known some CEOs. I've known some billionaire CEOs. I know some CEOs who run some fantastic companies. Every single CEO I've ever met in my life, if you're going to order a box of widgets, they want to know how much the widget is. This woman couldn't answer a simple question. A very, very simple question. And they answered it in the simple Democrat way they always do. That being, people are going to have to start paying their fair share. To this day, not one single Democrat anywhere, not a single one, has ever been able to define what the hell fair share is. It is a unicorn. It is the Loch Ness Monster. It doesn't friggin' exist. There is no such thing as fair share, because when you exhaust the fair shares, what are you going to do? She has no concept whatsoever on maintaining a budget the same way you or I have to. It's just keep spending and keep grabbing more money from other people who have the money. If they're rich, if they have some money, if their business is doing well, you have to pay your fair share. Your homework right now, every single one of you should be asking everybody, can you define fair share? Just ask them. Where are you going to get the money? Oh, you're going to pay your fair share. There's zombies out there right now. They're walking around saying this BS. Oh, I'm paying your fair share. Oh, you need to pay your fair share. What's my fair share? What exactly is the fair share that I'm supposed to pay? You will never get an answer. It is a Democrat bear trap. I want you to listen again. I just want to listen to the question here, okay? The question she was asked, very simply.
Saying that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
All right. What's going to happen if you can't get the money? She had no answer. If we can't get the money, we're just going to have to pay more. That was her answer. It wasn't, hey, listen, if we don't have the money, if we can't come up with a budget, if we can't figure it out, then perhaps we need to hold off, tighten our belt strings and understand the government can't do it. No, she didn't say that at all. Not at all. Just look at it.
First home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Where do you get the money? Where do you get the money to do the plans and things that you want to do? Is there some slush fund we should know about? Where is it?
Well,
stumped. That's a look to the right. Not really sure how I answer that. Kind of frowning.
But we're going to have to raise corporate taxes. And
that's the answer. There is no thought pattern as to reining things in. This is what the Democrats want to do. She looked in the eye. She said, where are you going to get the money? She looked over here because she didn't know how to answer the question because it wasn't top of mind. And then she just frowned and shrugged and said, I'm just going to have to raise taxes. What do you mean? It's simple. I need money. I'm going to raise taxes. That is the simplistic communist Marxist approach. And then the next question out of her mouth should have been, so what do you do when you run out of other people's money? Because it's not there. Because her only answer was to take it. I hope you talk to people that you know and you show them this, even with my wonky production here, and say, this woman's absolutely nuts. She has no concept of a budget. She doesn't care about a budget. She doesn't care if it bankrupts you because she has to take the fair share from you without ever defining what the hell fair share is. And no reporter has ever asked it. That is so dangerous. That is so scary for any American to have to face, that you will never know what the Democrats want to do to you. It's amazing how they do these things. So let's look at another one here. Wait a second, I got to bring it in because 1 second, because they made me go find all of these cuts. Here's another cut. All right, so let's bring her in on this cut.
1,000. He lost manufacturing plants.
Right. So in this one, she's talking about Trump, and she basically makes everything up, just completely lies. Ready?
That most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression.
Nope, she lied. She lied again. Just lied. The worst economy since the late Depression. Her minions must fall for that.
Are you feeling stuck with $10,000 or more?
Let's go.
Still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was during COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by most people's estimates, at least 200,000. He lost manufacturing plants. Ask the auto workers.
Polling shows that
I know politicians will twist the truth once in a while, but this woman just out and out lied. And the reporter from MSNBC didn't even ask her about the 800,000 jobs that she and her boy Joe absolutely fudged the numbers and then got caught. And she doesn't expect anybody to go back and actually look at the numbers. Well, I did. In the first 38 months of the Trump administration, he created 414,000 manufacturing jobs. She absolutely lied. Now, I understand this show isn't supposed to be directed at people like us. So their audience on MSNBC is basically nut jobbers, just complete stupid people. But even those people who listen to MSNBC understand at this point, I gotta believe they know they're being lied to, especially when MSNBC themselves begin saying, hey, listen, she didn't really tell the truth, did she? She kind of just lied. Listen to this.
She doesn't answer the question. Talk about that answer. I do, but here's what's a little tricky. She doesn't answer the question around if the GOP is controlling the Senate, if she can't raise corporate taxes, where is she going to get the money from? To expand the child tax credit and do all the things she wants to do. And she says, we just have to do it. And that's great, and that's a campaign promise. But the issue is, if it means we're just going to borrow again, then what we're doing is we're just never addressing the deficit. And back in the days when you were a proud Republican, debts and deficits mattered. Talk about that answer.
It's over when Nicole Wallace and Stephanie Ruhle both sit there and go, yeah, well, she just didn't even answer. She had no answer. Where you going to get the money from? Well, she didn't answer. MSNBC reporters sat down with an interview with Kamala Harris, the vice president and current presidential candidate. And after the interview, she did an interview with one of her other reporters and actually said she didn't have an answer. How could you not have an answer ready for where you're going to get the money from? You want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do that. Okay, so you've sat down with some financial planners and stuff, right? Yeah. Where are you getting the money? And MSNBC, after the interview, a taped interview, came out and said she didn't have an answer. How in the hell can this woman still be a candidate? That piece is going to be going everywhere. Everybody's going to see that. That the actual interviewer afterwards went, this woman's a fucking, bat poop crazy. She has no idea. I want to know what you guys have thought about this stuff so far. When your voters destroy property and looting, it's easy to brainwash these idiots. Yeah, it is. Did I win a hoodie yet? No, the hoodies will be awarded tomorrow. According to the Constitution, Harris is not eligible to run for president. I hear that. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. I love it when the news starts eating their own. Yeah, the interview, afterwards we're all going to be able to put, but they wouldn't let anybody take it live. C8 if you eat a can of Barry, did you just swear? I'm sorry. I caught myself though. I did catch myself. So it's just halfway there. Who is John Galt? Yeah, we're going to have to all become John Galt because this is just insane. If all of us in the chat are this angry, imagine how people are angry, how many people are angry right now, including MSNBC hosts. I can, imagine yourself, you're a Trump supporter, but you're a Kamala supporter, and you're really behind somebody, but at some point it becomes embarrassing because I'm supporting somebody who's making me, as a host on MSNBC, look stupid. She came onto your network and basically ignored what you had to say, didn't even answer the question, made you look stupid for even talking to her. And this is a presidential candidate that you're pushing? Nah, man, can't have it. Barry, I wish I could explain this to everyone because there are so many people out there who could use the way you explain things. I try to put things out there that make it simple for people to just sit and look at. I didn't make it up. Her words, she said, well, we'll just make you pay your fair share. As a functioning and somewhat intelligent adult, I would think the next question is, okay, what's my fair share? I'll wait. You want to have some fun on Twitter? You want to have some fun on Twitter? Get in there with the nuts and go, excuse me, serious question. I don't mean any disrespect, but can you tell me what my fair share is? I mean, I know you know nothing about me. I know you don't have no idea how much money I have in the bank. I know you don't know what I do for a living, or you don't know any, but I would just like to know, is there a definition somewhere where I can find out what a fair share is? And watch them go into mental gymnastics and to the point where they start swearing and screaming at you and calling you an effing colt and blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, I just asked you a simple question. And then they block you. Just something as simple as that can cause Democrats to just go into conniptions. And that's exactly what you just saw. This woman, who is a Kamala fan, which I proved at the beginning of the show, asked her a snowball, softball question. If you want to do all this, sounds great, where are you getting the money? Especially if the Republicans are still in Congress. Simple question. Surely you've been in business long enough, Kamala, to have a quick answer with that. Oh, we're going to move it from here, we're going to move it from there, we're just going to make them pay their fair share. Oh, so you have no friggin' idea what you're talking about. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I got to save my own credibility if I'm her. At that point, Kamala, you sound like a loon. Excuse me, I can't help you. If the Democrats really actually cared about us, they would have never let her run. Man, it's crazy. What's my fair share? What's an assault weapon? What's a woman? Oh, those three questions right there. You could also ask them what's birth control. I mean, since we're going there, since you know you're asking questions, you have birth control? Why do you need to have this other stuff if you got? Just saying. Somebody just said. Somebody said if she wins, we're done. I think more people have to begin seeing that. It sounds like hyperbole to say, you know what, if she wins, we're toast. And people are like, it's not going to be that bad. America will survive. The only way America survives if she were to get in is to make sure at least the House and Senate were taken. So she's a lame duck the entire time. But even then, she'll, fudge some numbers or do something to do executive orders. Somebody's asking me to put up the site again. Let me go ahead and put that right there so you guys can see it. Let me remove that comment. If you want to enter, win a hoodie, fanfareshop.org. Just go there and you can register. It's pretty simple. It's just the name, email, phone number, and then we'll have the system pull the winners, and then Ashley will contact you to see what size you are. Let's see here. Not a mommy, but a gami. Harris is going to pull a Pelosi insider trading and donate the money to her first home buyer's policy. What's personal responsibility? Yeah, if the biggest thing you can do, the most important thing that you can do is to have baby disposal, which is what Jennifer Lawrence came out today. She said it's the most important thing in this election is baby removal. Most important thing over everything. Personal responsibility, don't have a chance. She's trying to kill the filibuster. Yep, that's something else she wants to do as well. We could go on and on and on. There were so many things. I can't pull them all at this point. Let me see what else we've got here. That's the tax ratio thing. It's almost like people decided to stop actually sharing it because it was so stupid. Let me see if I see any more things that I could pull in really quick. No, so I mean it's what's this one? The tariff question. People are laughing at that. The MSNBC saying she couldn't answer the question. That's just going around. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. This woman cannot get near the White House. Here's.
You have a message.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry I'm having to do this piecemeal, but this is how MSNBC put the stuff out there. So this one here, she's asked a question. Let me go ahead and put this up here. This is a very short one. Okay.
Project 2025 is...
And I come from the middle class.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future. Yeah. But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character. You just...
Okay, so let's play this from the beginning. Somebody said they couldn't hear it. You got to hear this answer. This is just typical BS. I feel like I'm watching a Miss America contest. I don't feel like I'm watching a presidential candidate talk. So, Miss Philippines, what do you think about this? Well, world peace, and I'd love the world to have a drink, have a Coke. Everybody have a Coke. That's what she sounds like. So listen to this question that just popped up. This is pretty good.
Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future. Yeah. But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, You're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really...
Can you imagine? What if you're not hardworking? What if you're some schlub having 3 or 4 babies on welfare? What if you're some dude on the corner hanging out clocking? Clocking means selling stuff, if you know what I mean. What if you just have decided that you like not working? You're a knucklehead. Then your future president just said she has no use for you because you're not part of her plan. You need to be a worker bee. And as she's saying it, you can see she's never thought this through. She's picking stuff like Miss America, the world peace. What the hell are you saying to the American people? This is insane. Absolutely insane. Let's continue.
Love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams.
I told you it was Miss America stuff. You have ambitions. You have dreams. What in the hell do I need this from a president? I need a president, and I'm sure you do too. We need presidents who get in, make government unobtrusive, whichever the word you want to use. Get out of my way. Give me the opportunity to prosper. Lower regulations, lower taxes, and get out the way. We need dreams and aspirations and bunnies. And unicorns would be really cool too. And if we gave people stickers, they could put them on the refrigerator, and then they could show people, see my sticker? I did great today at work. What in the F is this woman talking about? How can anybody, anywhere, vote for this? This was a softball interview with the home stadium. This was Notre Dame playing North Illinois and got spanked. This is supposed to be a layup. This is easy. And she wasn't even prepared for this. She's not done yet.
Have you heard about the salt trick that's making men
see what's possible? We have an incredible work ethic, but not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things.
Who doesn't have access in this country? I'm serious. Who do you know that doesn't have access to do whatever they want legally? Like Eddie Murphy said, if you got a gun, you can probably eat and do anything you want. But is there some, I don't know, regulation that when you go to school, it says, listen, you're not allowed to basically go into advanced placement math. That's only for the cool kids. You're not allowed to graduate. You're not allowed to learn math, because if you learn math, then you might understand how money works. And then you would be able to define fair share. You're not allowed to go take shop, because maybe you might learn a trade. You're not allowed to go into HVAC because you might learn how to fix something. Are there rules at some point that you've seen that I haven't seen? This is 2024. Tell me specifically, like I'm a child, what opportunity I don't have if I'm qualified. See, that's the problem. I never went to med school. But even then, at my age, if I wanted to be a doctor, your opportunity is take your butt back to college and learn med school. Nobody would stop me. I don't care who you are or what your educational background is. There is not a single aspect of or vocation that you cannot, that you've been told you cannot do. You want to be a boat pilot? Go learn how to captain a boat. You want to be a teacher? Go to school and learn how to be a teacher. You want to be a cook? Go get a job as a short order cook and learn the trade. Can anybody in the chat tell me that there's any rule anywhere that says you can't do something? I am tired as a black person for people telling people over and over that you don't have the opportunity. It is the biggest crutch. It is the biggest enslavement to tell people you're not able to do something. You may not have the skills to dunk or shoot a basketball. That may preclude you. You got to have those qualifications. But other than that, or throwing touchdowns or hitting 100-mile-an-hour baseball, there's a lot of stuff that you can do if you learn how to do it. For years, they have told, especially black people, you don't have opportunity. You're precluded from doing this or doing that. And unfortunately, many black people have listened to that crap. They have been told, the white man doesn't allow you to do this. You're never going to get ahead. There's always going to be an obstacle thrown at you by somebody above you. Why are you never telling people how to get around that obstacle? Why are you never telling people how to climb over it, dig under it, go around it, go through it? I've had obstacles in my life. I'm sure you've had obstacles in your life. Do you walk up to the obstacle and go, that's pretty much it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this fork in the road here, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to sit here and wait till somebody doles something out to me. And when they come up to me and say, why are you sitting in the road? Your pants are dirty now, and now your hair's grown. And, you look like a tramp. Why are you just sitting here waiting for people to give you money? Because I don't know how to get around this obstacle. Nobody teaches you that in the hood. It's always amazed me that when I've met people who do illicit activities for money, whether they are walking the street, dealing, it's amazing. You have the skills to understand what to do with money, but you've chosen these activities to make it. Why? Because now you've already said you can cash handle. Yeah, hey man, I know if I sell these ounces right here, I'm gonna get that OZ, I'm gonna get this bag, give him a dime bag, I got some cash, I'm rolling. Okay, so you're astute in cash handling. You ever thought going to manage a 7-Eleven? Start there, maybe you might be a general manager or regional manager, and in a couple of years you may own your own store, but you're told you can't do it, right? You decide you're going to go lay on your back and become a sex worker. And that's one thing that you know how to do. Did you think back for a second? In order to be a valuable one of those people, you had to learn how to do your hair and your makeup so that you were presentable and had value. You presented yourself to somebody who decided they wanted to take that value. Did you go to the mall and say, listen, how do I work at the makeup counter? I'm pretty good at putting makeup on. I didn't know I could do that. Yes, Macy's, Clarence, all these people will hire you. You walk in and say, I'm pretty. I know how to obviously handle cash, and I know how to make things look presentable. Okay, and then these old ladies are going to come up and stick their face in front of you, and you're going to paint their face, and you're going to get paid. I don't get it. Sorry to go off on a diatribe there.
Allow them to achieve those things. But we don't lack for those things. But not everyone, gets handed stuff on a silver platter.
Why is learning how to do something being handed something on a silver platter? Why does it go from I don't know anything to being a silver platter? I've told you guys this many a times. We all have these things, cell phones. Every one of these things that you walk around with is a movie studio. They have filmed full-length movies with nothing but cell phones. You get proficient at that, and you buy lights, and you buy a camera. YouTube channel are free to open. Doesn't cost you any money. But you got to do the work. You got to put it in. You got to learn how to talk. You got to learn how to relate. You got to build an audience, a community. What do you mean the opportunity's not there? Every single person on TikTok doing all the stupid dances, we may find them stupid, kids love it, and they're making money doing kitten and cat dances, doing all the stuff, especially if you're a woman. Oh my God, there's women on TikTok and some of these sites where all you gotta do is smile and look good and just do this. Oh yeah, pay me, do it again. Some of these people are pervs, but you can make money. So I don't understand in this day and age of 2024 where every single person is walking around with these, how you're telling me there's no opportunity.